Hello.
Are we
What's
here?
up?
Yeah.
I believe we are. It's nice to see you all. Thank you so much for participating in today's AMP Music Summit, sponsored by KCRW. Big thanks to the team for having us here. We are 4 team members from brand new startups happening here in the COVID era. I have a really exciting group of people here to talk with today. I'm going to ask my colleagues here to give brief introductions about themselves, and then we'll move along, and we will have some time for questions at towards the end of our hour. Let's start with my new friend Zoe. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Zoe Rogers. I'm the founder and CEO of Ration, and we're a company where we're trying to help you consume content better online. And I think later we'll go into more detail about what that means. I'm also a DJ. Since I was 13, I've had a radio show, and I actually recently, in the times of COVID, just revived it on my college radio station, which I'm advertising in the background here, WMBR Cambridge. So it's a little about me.
Awesome. Welcome. Shari, tell us about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Shari Holly. I am a partner and director of operations for Pipelines. We are a mobile app that connects underrepresented talent directly to job and training opportunities in tech, entertainment, and creative industries. And we just launched in beta this past Monday. So very exciting time for us. And I'm excited to tell you more later.
Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing about it. It sounds like you're doing important work over there.
Very important.
Mr. Galvin, full transparency to everyone, Mr. Galvin and I know each other. Tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Chris Galvin. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Submix. We are basically the Zoom for music collaboration. We have built a remote desktop application where you can make music together and collaborate together with built-in audio and MIDI. My background is basically for the last 8 years, I've been managing remix and producer competition platforms for Beatport, Native Instruments, and Metapop. And I'm located in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being here. My name is Matt Adell. I have a long background in music tech and being an entrepreneur, and I am a member of the founding team of OnNow.tv. We're like TV Guide for live streams. We're the largest index of live streams that you can watch for free and ticketed in the world. I'll tell you more about it in a little bit. So let's get started with something a little personal. I'd love to hear from all of you what your origin story is. What is a thing that happened in your past that you can connect to where you are today? And let's go backwards. Let's start with Chris.
Sure. Yeah, my background is mostly in DJing. I started DJing really early on as a kid in high school and was lucky enough to have been a DJ during the early rave scene in the 80s and 90s in Los Angeles. I'm aging myself there a bit, but I have been a big electronic music fan and music fan for a long time. And so that's kind of where I'm coming from in terms of being able to create a music collaboration platform, being basically a frustrated music producer that needs help.
Thanks, man. Shari?
Sure. So diversity and inclusion is something I've been working in for 7 years, primarily in entertainment and creative industries. So it's something I'm extremely passionate about in the office and outside of the office. But I would say my personal connection to what we are doing is because I grew up in Detroit. And back when I was growing up in Detroit, we didn't have a lot of women, especially Black women, who were starting their own businesses and pursuing creative industries or entertainment, let alone being a producer or music. So I really connect deeply to what I'm doing and the cause and the mission, because I want to connect more opportunities and more underrepresented talent to jobs and training so we can start to see a real world that reflects the diversity of society. So very personal for me.
Excellent. Personal for me too. I'm really looking forward to learning more about it. I wish I was spending my day doing something as important. Zoe, tell us your origin story.
Yeah, so I grew up in LA. I already alluded to the fact that I too have a background in DJing, which has been like a huge common thread throughout my life. I also have a PhD in genetics. So I am a scientist by training. But what I did like in college, also I went from my undergrad through grad school. I was the general manager of a radio station in undergrad, and I was the music director at Stanford in grad school. And so one thing that I loved doing as music director was kind of, you literally have to listen to every CD that you get in the mail and every MP3 that you get in your inbox. And what my job was to go through and say like, okay, this one we can cull out. This one is maybe in the EDM genre, so it's not my expertise, so I have to defer that decision to somebody else. And what we're really trying to do is bring the highest quality music to our listeners. And so that's definitely a seed for kind of the model of this curated content platform that I'm working on now.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. May I tell you my origin story?
Yes, please.
I'd love to hear it.
So my parents and I were seeing a Broadway show, and as we walked out, a man walked up and shot my dad. No, I'm sorry, that's Batman. My origin story is working at a record store throughout high school. I'm pretty old, 1982 to 1984. And I was a passionate music lover. I was in punk rock bands at the time, but I worked for this amazing guy, Rick Addy. And Rick taught me that any music that brings people joy, as long as it's not hate speech in one form or another, is good music. And that lots of people have different things going on in their lives that drive their taste or their ability to be interested in new things. And so I really learned from this guy, Rick Addy, while I was in high school, that helping people get the media that's right for them to consume when they want to consume it has real value. And it's not just about my taste. And that's something I've brought with me throughout my entire career at Napster, at Beatport, at Native Instruments, and now with OnNow.tv, really trying to build systems that enable people to rapidly discover, in this case, the live streams that they're going to find either most valuable, most fun, most thought-provoking in their life, and hopefully not waste much of their time on their way to doing it. So I chalk up that record store as being my origin experience. And funny side story, the movie version of High Fidelity is based on that record store and my time there. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it. For our audience, I'd like to share with you how we thought we would go about this conversation. We're going to basically sort of pretend that all of us met each other at a music conference. We've retired to the hotel bar to get to know each other because our good friend Simon said we really should know each other and collaborate and tell each other what our experiences are. And that's what we're going to do today. It's the 2 in the afternoon where I am, though, so I'm not drinking yet. I'm just going to have a glass of water. But let's start with Shari. Shari, tell us all about Pipeline. I want to know how it's going.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna, if it's okay with you, show you a demo because I have it already ready.
Oh, awesome! Awesome. Feel free to grab the screen share and make it happen.
Sure. 1 second. Share my screen here. All right. It's no secret that there's a diversity and inclusion problem in tech, entertainment, and creative industries. Many don't even know of the opportunities or career paths available to them. Tech, entertainment, and creative industries are a massive part of our global economy, but they have some of the lowest numbers of underrepresented employees. We have the solution to break the access barrier to these industries in a relevant, powerful, and effective way. Introducing Pipeline, a mobile app that connects underrepresented talent to job and training opportunities and companies to a vast pool of qualified, diverse talent. For companies and nonprofit partners, create a profile. Use opportunity cards to post jobs. Connect directly with individuals of interest. Reach out to our demographic through powerful, targeted messaging. For talent, choose a path. Create a unique profile. Swipe through job and training opportunities in your selected city. Connect directly with recruiters, decision makers, and training opportunities. Partner companies will also have access to our web portal with a host of expanded features, including the ability for company partners to connect with our network of nonprofit partners. The Pipelines Foundation is our nonprofit arm. With it, we are the only platform that provides our demographic what they need to train, equip, empower, and through our mobile app, place them in the workforce. Pipeline seeks to change the status quo on a systemic level by creating brand new pipelines into these underrepresented communities. We are reshaping the social landscape and tackling the diversity and inclusion problem at its root. Access, opportunity, change. All right.
That's really cool. So
yeah,
is it mobile first? Is the application mobile first?
Yes, so it is a mobile app. It's available for download. Underrepresented talent or talent ages 15 and up who are looking for job and training opportunities across tech, entertainment, and creative. And then also companies and organizations really looking to make a serious commitment to diversify their workforces and create more inclusive work environments. So we have a user base of 4 different users. That's students and talent, companies across tech, entertainment, and creative, nonprofit organizations that train and mentor underrepresented talent, and then of course, academic institutions.
Cool. You mentioned diversity and inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I've seen a lot of confusion about those 2 words in my own workplaces and work I've been doing with trade groups. Could you maybe take a minute to help people understand what those 2 words mean and how they're different?
Absolutely. I'm sure we've heard this analogy, but I love it so much. You know, diversity is being invited to the party and inclusion is being asked to dance. So it's just not enough to say, yes, we have our diverse employees, but if they're not included in the conversation, if they're not making decisions, if their ideas or collaborative ideas aren't being heard, then it really doesn't matter. And in my honest opinion, I think inclusion is actually the more important piece because you know it's really easy to hire underrepresented groups at your company, but if you're not making sure that they're heard or that they have a voice, then you're really not hitting the nail on the inclusion piece. And then belonging, is a whole other thing, making sure that when they're hired that they're feeling like they belong at these companies.
Mm-hmm. I love it. How long have you guys been up?
So like I said before, we just beta launched this past Monday, which we're really excited about. Yay! It's been a long time coming. So this is phase 1 of 2 of our launch. Phase 1 features all of our nonprofit organizations across New York, LA, and London. So this is just beta. With our students, talent, and nonprofits. And then later in October, we'll be rolling out with our for-profit company partners who will be actually offering job and career opportunities on the app. So if you're out there and you're a company and you're committed to making a long-lasting impact in this space, hit me up. My email is info@pipelines-mobile, and I would love to set you up for an account for free.
That's really cool. So how long have you been working on this leading up to this beta launch?
Sure. I've been building this with Kristen Imhoff, who's actually the founder and CEO of Pretty Bird, and she's actually the founder and CEO of Pipeline. So she's my partner, and we've been building this thing together since 2016. So 3.5 years, we've been building a robust platform. We really wanted to make sure that we did this right. And as you saw in the video, we also have a nonprofit foundation because we understand that it's not enough just to connect people with jobs, but we want to make sure that they're successful in these jobs. So if you've never been in an office environment, or if you're a woman in a male-dominated industry, how do you navigate these spaces? So we really use the foundation to focus on mentorship, scholarship, education, tools, and resources. So we're not just giving people jobs, but we're making sure they're equipped to navigate these industries and be successful.
How can straight white men like me and Chris be allies to your platform?
Oh, there are many ways. We are always looking for volunteer engagement. And what that means is we have a host of programs filtered through our industry and academic partnerships. So we do panel discussions like this one, speaker opportunities. We have a summit, a youth creativity summit that we're always looking for speakers. We're creating a structured mentorship program. So if you'd like to plug in and mentor a student or a college student or up and coming producer or whatever, across tech, entertainment, creative, there's definitely plenty of ways to plug in. And then, like I said before, if you run a nonprofit organization in this space, or if you're a company, we would love to have you on the app. We would love for you to be a part of this movement. And we really want to create true partnerships. So this is not just you cutting us a check or mentoring once and then we never see you again. We want ongoing volunteer engagement because, our platform really thrives on the number of people that plug in and are committed, not be overwhelmed by it. So please let me know.
Zoe, it sounded like you obviously have a really deep STEM background, being a scientist.
I do.
All.
I'll be hitting you, Zoe.
Yeah.
Do you think something like Pipeline could have an impact in that space as well?
Totally. It's actually something that we, at the genetics department at Stanford, was something that we really struggled with to think through, the best ways to kind of expand the number of represented groups in our department. It is white male dominated for sure. And it's interesting because, I think that it really, going back to the mentorship and the training, is so key, because you can't just, force the injection of diversity into the departments like that or into companies. It has to really come from the culture. And that's where the inclusion part comes in, because if it's not part of the culture, then you're going to, artificially select people and they're just never going to feel included. And that just makes the problem even worse. So it's a huge problem in STEM, but it's a problem in the tech startup industry as well. So it's a huge problem, and also it's amazing that you guys are doing this now, and what fortuitous timing to finish this project up, and how important it is right now, especially. And I'll be curious to see, I'd be really curious to hear your thoughts on, how you're going to do kind of remote mentorship and remote trainings now in this kind of COVID space, because, all of our worlds are turning into Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Zoom is the way of life.
Yeah, so it's super interesting.
Well, I would like to volunteer to mentor with the program. I'm really focused on utilizing my privilege for the benefit of others wherever I can right now.
I could put my email in the chat for all the participants, and please email me directly if you're interested in volunteering. We're moving a lot of our programming virtually, obviously. So if you're interested in mentoring or speaking opportunities or being on a panel, especially if you're in HR, I would love to have you. I'm pretty sure there's a way we can plug you in. We really want this to be a communal effort, because, up and coming emerging talent, they're defeated. They don't see enough role models and they don't have enough mentors. So we're really trying to create more meaningful opportunities so we can start to see more women and people of color and people from the LGBTQ community and more disabled talent in our industries, because they can work and they can make a difference. And we want to make that happen. So look at us as a really cool middleman or a hub, more so than a diversity program. So
it's also a big anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act this week. Which created at least a lot of progress, I think, in that area. Well, Shari, thank you so much. Maybe we could jump over to Zoe and hear about Ration.
Yeah. So I started working on Ration at the beginning of 2019. That was when I stopped working at a science company and decided to work on this passion project full time. And really, it's actually becoming more and more relevant throughout this crisis. But I think it's, as most of us know, the kind of media cycle and the news cycle is getting more and more chaotic by the second. And I don't know if anybody else was reading the several articles that came out over the last couple of weeks about doom scrolling. But that is a real phenomenon, and it's happening more and more, especially in isolation. And what it means is you're on Twitter, you're on Reddit, you're scrolling through your Apple News feed, and you just go and go and go, and you get deeper and deeper into these kind of like really dark content holes. And it's proving to be actually, you know, non-surprisingly really detrimental to people's general mental health and well-being. And the other part of it, though, is that you don't want to just turn everything off, right? I did for a couple of weeks. I turned off Instagram and Facebook and all of those things. But it's also so important to just stay informed, because we need to know what's going on in the world so that we can act and we can be knowledgeable and, you know, be good citizens. And so what we're really trying to do at Ration is figure out a way to kind of get people to consume media better. And what we mean by that is in a less inflammatory way, in a more finite way. And so really quickly, I will show you guys a demo of the app. What we're doing currently is a really small private beta. We have about 45 beta testers. So this is the early MVP version of the app. And so what you'll see here is my phone screen. And if you click on this really loud hot pink icon in the bottom right-hand corner, which is my favorite color, you will see the Ration app and it will open up. And so what we are showing you on your first page is your ration. And so these are going to be 10 pieces of content. We have a lot of different content types in the app. We're kind of type agnostic, so it could be a podcast or an article or a video, and it could be news, but it could be a cooking recipe, right? So we're trying to be more of a content app than a news app. And each one of these pieces that you'll see in my ration is hand selected by an actual person. And they write about it and tell you why they think it's worth your time. And so here you can see that I've got some articles from Scientific American, some stuff from Redef. And if anyone is curious as to how I got to do this fun, cool screen share thing, there's a new app that's called and it's trying to make these Zoom meetings better. And so you can actually just drop these kinds of screen shares in. But this is something that, again, is actually I found in my Ration app. And so anyway, these are your 10 items in your ration. And so what's really important to us is that you don't spend too much time in this app. We want it to be very valuable, but your attention is really valuable. So we want you to be able to kind of come in and come out. And so what you'll notice is I get to the end, and if I ask it for more, it'll actually like wave at you and say, go away. That's the end of your ration. And so what's really interesting about this too, though, is that like any recommendation algorithm, it's going to start to get to know you pretty quickly. And it's really easy for us to kind of go into these bubbles of self-reinforcement, right? Where we're just reading things from the same people over and over again, or from people that have kind of the same viewpoints as us. And so we want to be really intentional about helping you get out of that echo chamber. And so the second kind of feed is called Beyond. And it's literally beyond the echo chamber is the concept. And so these are articles that are maybe not as close to my interests, but because every single piece of content within this app has been hand selected by a human, they're all really good. So I can learn things like what Robinhood wants me to know today about the stock market, or read something about a cute otter, which seems fun. And then finally, we want to really highlight these creators and their curators. And so the way that we think of this, again, is in a DJ lens. And so I'm calling each of these kinds of groups of pieces of content made by somebody a content playlist. And so say I really like The Morning, which is a newsletter by the New York Times. And I do actually try to read this every single morning. So what I can do is click into this, and I can see every single curated article that the New York Times sent to me this morning, right? And that's how I can kind of dig deeper into that news. And so what we're really going for here is this idea of a link plus commentary. So if I click into any one of these links, I'll actually see the commentary on the article, and then I can click on the article itself if I want to read it there. So that's a quick demo of the app. And what we're really excited about with Ration is that we really want to give people kind of the agency to consume better. And the way that we want to do that ultimately is by giving people different kinds of analytics about maybe you went down this kind of rabbit hole. Would you like to read something that's more upbeat to try to pull you back out of it? And so we really want to start to kind of give people this platform to intentionally consume their daily content.
What sparked it for you? Was there an epiphany moment that made you see this need?
Well, so I think that it comes from kind of a family background in music tech. And one learning that I guess I got to see unfold at Beats Music when it was being made was they actually hired all of these actual people to make playlists at Beats. And that was what made those playlists so charming, in addition to the recommendation algorithm. And so then coming back to my own curation experience, I think that what people really want are things that have been vetted by others, right? So if I'm gonna try to get into EDM, I'm gonna ask Chris about it because he's the expert in the space, right? So I wanna find people who are experts in their space to surface the correct articles to read, or even people that are experts in a space that I might not agree with, so that I can see kind of those viewpoints as well. And so I think that it's definitely the kind of DJ aspect. And I find myself when I'm building this app, harkening back a lot to, especially when we start thinking about creator tools, thinking back to the kind of library and playlist format that we're all really used to in a Spotify or an Apple Music. And I think that kind of curation is applicable broadly and not just to music.
Chris, you just got called out as an expert in EDM. I'm not sure if I should congratulate you or wish you sympathy, but
I just assumed.
What are your, Chris? Would you use Ration? How could you see this being part of your media diet?
Absolutely. I every day fall into this rabbit hole of going on New York Times or just news sites in general and getting stuck in this really bad place for news. And I would love to be able to read vetted stuff from people, especially like for me, when I listen to music, I go to places like KCRW or specific, tastemakers to find, the right music. And I would love to have that opportunity to go and find specific individuals of specific subject matter and be able to look at their like playlist of content. So yeah, absolutely. I'd use this in a heartbeat for sure.
And just for my one plug, we are still private beta, but if you go to ration.fyi, you can sign up for the beta list. And as we roll that out, you will be able to start playing around with the Ration app.
How does one sign up to be a curator or a subject matter expert for content?
You can email me.
Okay.
Yeah, you can email hi@ration.fyi. It's on the site as well, and I will look into it. But yeah, right now it's like very high tech. It's me and some of my friends are doing it too, and we upload CSV files. Oh, hooray fantastic. For the MVP. But yeah, it's really good. It's been really fun. And actually that's one thing that's been interesting about just this kind of process. Originally we were thinking we would kind of hire a curatorial team. And actually a lot of my friends have just said, I want to do that. And so I think that really resonates too. And we're hoping to build more creator tools so that more people can kind of share this type of content.
Shari, you look like you had something to say.
I have a burning question.
Yeah.
So if I'm a new user to Ration and I download the app, is it kind of like they ask me preliminary questions to gauge my style or like my reading style? Or is this something that's kind of curated along the way depending on what I click on and what I'm reading?
So it is both things, but we do kind of have, I'll show you here. We have a whole onboarding process where it asks you things. And this is, again, like a work in progress, but we think it does pretty well so far. And we're trying to be fun too. So it's not totally, you're not just selecting your favorite news categories. So this one's fun. And you say, do you enjoy discussing politics? And I say like, yes, but not at Thanksgiving. Or like, what are you listening to in your headphones, right? So we're trying to be, and what's really interesting about the way that we're doing the algorithm currently is that we're recommending things less based on the actual kind of tag that you might get. So music, news, whatever. And what we're actually trying to do is map you to the curators. Because if you identify with that trusted source, it's kind of like what Chris was saying. Like if somebody, like if Aquarium Drunkard recommends an album to me, I'm gonna go listen to it, like whether or not I think it's something that I want to listen to. And so we're really kind of experimenting with the idea that the curator is more important than the actual kind of content itself. So what this actually does is it lines you up with your favorite curators, basically, and it ranks them in order. So that's how it works currently.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, moving along with our time here. Thanks, Zoe. It's really cool. I cannot wait to use it. I am the king of doom scrolling and afternoon depression. Chris, tell us about Submix.
Sure. Yeah, I think, well, as I mentioned earlier, my background is mostly in managing remix competition platforms and producer challenges platforms. And over the years, I've noticed quite a few pain points with managing these platforms. And what I've noticed over the years and what we've noticed through various user groups and focus groups and just talking to users and doing live beat ciphers and ciphers in general is that, you know, doing a remix competition is pretty easy. You have a lot of the parts already there for you to create a track and be able to create a track really quickly. But when it comes time to actually start making a track from scratch, a lot of users are having a hard time and they're struggling. And so when those users are trying to find some place to, you know, go collaborate or find out the best way to, you know, maybe sidechain a kick beat or something like that, you have to kind of dig through YouTube and kind of find the right place, or you drop quite a few dollars and sign up for some sort of institution that teaches you how to do that, which is fine, but not a lot of people have a lot of money to do that. So one of the pain points is, you know, finding that right place to do something, but also at the same time trying to find people to collaborate together that are like-minded to yours. And so trying to do any sort of online collaboration is always broken. You've got to use some sort of video app like the one we're using and hack together some sort of sound card or sound plugin to make it work. And then there's really no MIDI support. And so I worked in some gaming industry companies prior to getting into the tech world. And I always thought, like, why can these people play massive online games and be able to, you know, work together to, you know, take somebody down or have someone coach you how to play Fortnite or something? Why can't we do the same thing with music? And why can't people collaborate together in some sort of music collaboration platform? And that's really the birth of Submix. And as I mentioned earlier, we've come together and created this platform where it's really easy to use. You're able to basically work together with another person. We support up to 100 folks, but right now, because of where we're at with the bill, we're only supporting one person to person. So now you can really work together. I can actually go onto someone else's machine when their DAW is open and help them create a track. And I can show you guys a quick demo here.
Cool.
Let me pull that up for you. You can kind of see, in an effort to save some time, I truncated this video quite a bit so that you can see kind of the real content of this video. You can see me. I've already logged in. I've already done the remote into someone else's machine. We'll create a beat and then we'll create a bass line together and we'll go from there. So let me pull that up. You'll see me in my quarantine uniform here, black t-shirt and a hat. So basically, as I mentioned, I've already remoted into my friend's machine and we're going to use Ableton Live. And really quickly, I've already got the app open and in the background, you can see Ableton Live here.
Add the bass line.
So we're going to create,
I'm going
to
just use this 909 kick that's
what you're seeing is I'm actually on his machine creating a beat
that
I'm here in
is
San Francisco and he's
Ableton default 909. Just add in snare here. Oops, we got closed. No, I want to open.
And then when I'm done creating this beat, he'll pull up a plugin on his DAW and start making a bass line.
You want to add a bass line?
Yeah, I'll do that now.
Okay.
So he's right now drawing out a bass line here, and then he's going to make some tweaks. And then what I'll be doing next is creating like a rhythm that go over the top, and then I'll be testing the MIDI on his device from my machine with a MIDI keyboard that we've built in a MIDI plugin so that you can see and test sounds, but also in real time play sounds into the actual DAW on his end.
Mhm.
You can't really hear the bass line over Zoom. It's not the greatest quality, but you get the idea here.
And what did you just do there?
I'm just adding a little round off on the very low notes EQ and a little bit of sidechain compression. Rather just going back and develop it.
And what I can do while he's doing this is also control the mouse as well on his machine and make some tweaks if I don't really like the sound that he's writing or want to.
Melody to this?
Let me add something really quick here, yeah.
And then I'll add in here a rhythm.
Yeah, the MIDI track here. I'm gonna use the serum again. Let me see.
Making music is super exciting.
I'm gonna go to a lead. See if I can find something good here.
And right now I'm actually testing the different sounds with my MIDI keyboard on his machine. So you can see hitting the keyboard here at the bottom here. And then I'll drop some MIDI notes and then quantize it.
All right, let's go Ravy. Let's draw this in real quick. Actually, I'm gonna drop this down an octave. All right.
And that's pretty much it. It's really simple to use. You get kind of the gist of how it can be used remotely anywhere, anytime with anybody. And so, yeah, Shari, earlier I wanted to say that we're more than glad to offer this up to you guys to use for free anytime, and we'd love to mentor and help you guys out for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, at my understanding correctly, that one computer has all the music creation software on it. We were looking at Ableton, which is a DAW similar to like Pro Tools, I guess.
Right.
And so one computer had all the software and a person, and then remotely there's another person, but you're both playing the software on the first person's computer at the same time?
That's correct. Yeah. So we technically, you can have two different DAWs going at the same time, but they won't be in the same sync, and we can work together. However, what we found through our user studies and talking to a lot of producers is that there's usually one person that's managing the DAW while the other person is contributing their sound, or they're playing it on a keyboard somewhere in the studio or in general. And so we thought that that would be the best way in terms of a user experience for users to be able to have one instance and play and have one specific track that they're working on together versus having two different ones going separately.
Do they need to have Zoom open at the same time, or is it all self-contained in Submix?
It's all self-contained in Submix. What you normally have problems with when you're collaborating online is there's always some sort of compatibility issues. No one ever really has the same version of Ableton. No one has all the same plugins. And so what happens is people will stem out their tracks. They'll individually take each sound from a track and send to that person. And they have to spend like a couple hours dropping that into the DAW. Now you don't have to do that anymore. You can just use Submix to make any sort of tweaks and work together on the platform.
That's really cool. How long have you guys been live?
We've been live since March. We originally had planned to launch with more of our educational piece of the puzzle of Submix, but we pivoted a bit to support artists during this time, during COVID. So we wanted to give music creators and producers this opportunity to work together remotely. And so we pivoted and just created this piece of the puzzle first.
It's really cool.
Thank you.
Shari, Zoe, any feedback or questions for our friend here?
I do. First, have you heard of Young Producers Group? It's a nonprofit.
I've heard of it, but I'm not really too familiar of it. Yeah.
I want to connect you. I mean, everything you're doing is we've done some events with them, but they basically teach, up and coming producers everything they need to know about music software, et cetera. But I think there's some synergy there. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The platform is free. Anybody can use it right now.
Okay.
Right now, what happens is you're working together in like a peer-to-peer network, and so your audio and your MIDI and all that is being controlled by that peer-to-peer network. So you're not using the internet. So basically, you're connecting together. So if there's anybody that wants to use it for free, they can use it for free at any given time. And so, yeah, feel free to
Perfect.
put them on.
This is awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I
Really
just think
cool.
I think it's
Go
so
ahead,
cool
Zoe.
because I just think that I mean, one of my favorite, I guess one of the things that I've been finding as a relaxing and actually refreshing thing during this pandemic has been kind of all of the amazing creative things that have begun to come out of it.
Yeah.
And like lots of remote collaborations are coming out, and you know, I feel like my Spotify feed is always like a new one-off cover that two of my favorite bands did collaboratively. And I think that's something we wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And so from a music creation and creative perspective, it's actually been kind of beautiful. And like some of the concerts that people have been seeing too, which goes to your work, Matt, like some amazing concert experiences have come out of this. And so enabling that kind of creative talent is so cool. It's like such a neat collaborative platform. So anyway, I just think it's fun.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, gee, maybe I could use that as an intro to tell you guys about On Now
Yeah, let's
TV.
hear about you, Matt. Yeah.
Enough about
Thank you very much. So, you know, as the quarantine started, I was finding that I was missing live streams I wanted to see. D Nice in particular, you know, blew up as a DJ. He'd been a significant part of hip hop. He was part of Boogie Down Productions way back in the day, which amazes me because the guy looks like he's like 20 years younger than me. But I had missed his sets, and I was either reading about them after they happened, or I was reading about them, and then live streaming wasn't really part of my normal entertainment workflow and diet. And so I was missing a ton of stuff. I am a gamer, so I'm super familiar with Mixer and Twitch. And when I'm gaming, I might be open to, you know, having those platforms recommend something. But I hadn't really started consuming live streams at the same way I consume television or digital television, because I'm a cable cutter. And I came together with a group of co-founders here in Los Angeles. And our strategy is to make the consumption, discovery, and promotion of live streaming easier for everyone. Live streaming is a really fragmented market. It's more fragmented than your old cable TV box. You have all these different platforms with different scheduling systems, with different types of entertainment or education or wellness programs happening on them. And we wanted to bring that all together so that people could find the best stuff to watch when they want to watch it, and make sure they don't miss it, and make sure all these incredibly creative people are getting the biggest audience they possibly can. It's a very simple product to use. The real secret sauce is in our back end. We are already the world's largest index of 24-hour live streams and upcoming live streams. Over the next couple weeks, we predict we'll be adding thousands more as we continue to digest the APIs of partners. And let me just show you a little bit how it works here. I won't take up too much time. By the way, while I'm doing this, if people want to get ready and ask some questions in chat, we will do that, answer some questions after I self-promote. So here we are at the front door of onnow.tv. You can actually see my colleague featured this live stream that's happening right now with my old mustache picture there. And you can come to the homepage, and we are not just about music. We have seen really exciting growth in wellness. Here down at the bottom right, you can see Wine Down Live, where women of color talk about their favorite wines. There's some really good streams of just penguins walking around that I really like to relax to. But not only can people search, browse, discover through categories, but one of our secret sauces is when you create an account, you can add any upcoming live stream to your watch list, and it creates a Netflix style time-based watch list of the things coming up that you want to watch. And additionally, we have automatic email and in-app reminders so that stuff is coming up. You get a 24-hour reminder, a 30-minute reminder, and a 30-second reminder if you want, saying that thing you want to watch is about to happen. And we understand that the notification systems can drive 50% greater consumption of someone's live streams, because not getting a notification is really the primary way people fail to go and see the things they want to watch. One of my favorite live streams these days is Good Night with Dolly. Dolly Parton every week reads children's stories, and it is just an absolute delight. I recommend it to everyone. So we're a web app only right now. We'll have an iOS app later in the year, although this is the web app is very mobile friendly. There's new stuff getting added all the time. You're going to see more sports and news in the coming weeks. We've only been working on this for about 14 or 16 weeks. 4 weeks in, we launched our MVP, and we're really excited to have people using it and really starting to learn what it can do for them. I see someone has already asked a question about onnow.tv. Do you guys mind if I try to answer that?
Sure.
Go for it.
Yeah.
How will people parse through the millions of shows? Well, there will be millions, and personalized recommendations are going to be very important. But we also are introducing more in-depth features that allow people to parse the content within the stream. So if it's a festival stream and there's 10 different artists performing, you can search by those artists as metadata around the content. I really want to be able to, for instance, follow D-Nice and get notified anytime he's live streaming on anyone's channel. If he's doing it on his channel or the Insomniac channel, there isn't an easy way for me to get past all the fragmentation in the market. And we really want to defragment that for users, so they just think of live streams the way they think of TV, that it's all there waiting for them. Someone else asked if we're doing personal and public streams. And yes, we are going to be able to, we are doing that already. Right now, anyone can add a stream to our system, even a stream that you don't own. If you heard about a stream and you think it's really cool and you want to get a reminder when it happens, and maybe you want to share it with your friends so that your friends watch it with you, you can also do that. We have APIs and mass systems where we can bring in partners like StageIt and Tixer who are coming on board, but also anyone can add a live stream so that they can share it with their friends and share it with the community and promote their favorite live streaming talent. One of the fun things I've noticed about the live streaming market since we've been doing this is different kinds of performers are gravitating towards different places. Lots of DJs on Twitch, but also lots of DJs on Mixcloud, because Mixcloud has all the licenses. But then stand-up comedians are all on Zoom because they have to be able to hear people laugh. And Zoom has absolutely no scheduling or promotion functionality. So in particular, if you're a Zoom streamer, you really can use us to create your entire online presence that reaches people outside of the Zoom network. So that's my spiel on onnow.tv. We're really excited. It's entirely free right now. We are not a live streaming platform. We are not a ticketing platform. We're here to help both ends of the marketplace connect.
What have been the most popular categories since you've launched?
Well, so health and wellness is very popular.
Right.
And I think with health and wellness, we're seeing a lot of non-celebrities become real tastemakers or influencers in their market. So yoga has been, popular. The animal streams are popular. The 24-hour animal streams, which I would imagine some people are sort of, putting on as wallpaper and are really cute. And then of course, music. Radiohead has been killing it. There's a Bjork thing happening that's been amazing. The guys at Tomorrowland in Amsterdam did an incredible job with the festival recently. So, music is significant, and really anything people are missing right now is growing really rapidly. So we're missing going to comedy. You know what else is really popular? Cocktail hours. We've seen bartenders telling people what they should go buy, and then everyone sits there and makes cocktails together, and they learn about the cocktails. It's been really fun. We have just 12 minutes left, and first I'm going to cough. Excuse me. But we see some questions coming through. Do I have your all permission to fire some questions at you from our audience?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. Zoe, do you see all the playlists living only within Ration, or are you considering syndicating your feeds to other sites?
That's a really, really good question. Actually, right now for beta, the way that I'm kind of testing the waters with it is actually by using my favorite newsletters. So those also live in your inbox and on some websites. And so I think that it's a really interesting kind of, like, we would not want to own necessarily the content. And, you know, it would be a really great way for people to kind of syndicate it across multiple channels. And, you know, we really just want to enable broader broadcasting of this type of content. And so certainly we hope to be a place that people who might not be publishing daily newsletters would start publishing similar content, but definitely not trying to kind of keep it siloed within the app.
I'm sorry.
Oh man,
my goodness.
Matt is really, drink that water.
I am not sick. I'm just nervous.
I know it's
Like
so
you're nervous.
taboo to cough now during this whole thing.
I'm going to go to the grocery store and cough in the fruit aisle later today.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
I see a couple of questions for onnow.tv. Someone comments, so they understand that onnow.tv is aggregation. Are there any companies resisting being on our platform? Not so far, but we're new enough that no one has had taken the time to tell me to go F myself yet. That day might come. But a big focus at onnow.tv is we do not want to be competitive with the live streaming and ticketing platforms. We want to make it easier for viewers to discover and go to live streams. We want to make it easier for them to purchase tickets. So I can't imagine why someone wouldn't want to be on onnow.tv, but perhaps I will learn that at some point in the future. Someone else asks if our service is pay or supported by sponsors and advertisers. Currently, it's supported and sponsored by myself and my partners and our new investor. And we may add advertising in the future, but we don't foresee charging users for this service at all. We believe that there are additional services we may offer in the future that we can monetize. But I really believe that if we can just scale globally and create incredible value for both ends of the marketplace, there will be opportunities for monetization that will make sense as time goes. My goal before we monetize is to be global. So I want to be doing this for Indian creators, for Chinese creators, for Rwandan creators, and then we'll figure out how we can help everyone make a little bit more money. We've got a few minutes left, and talking about money, I'm curious, has everybody done their fundraising? How is that going during COVID?
Who wants to take that one first?
You.
Okay. No, I'm not raising currently. I raised a very small pre-seed a while ago. I'm probably going to start raising a seed round soon, but it's not in the works yet. But now that we have an MVP, it's definitely, and I guess for me also, like, seeing this kind of moment where people are starting to ask for tools to help them spend less time on their phones, stare at less ads, look at less clickbait, I find myself feeling a real sense of urgency that we need to, like, impart some momentum here. So I think fundraising will happen by the end of the year, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chris, how's it going for you?
Yeah, same. I really want to push the platform and get it out there as much as we can. But yeah, right now, you know, with investments down 60%, it's been a little bit challenging for sure, but we have the platform and we're just trying to grow it as much as possible and getting it out there to everybody and letting them use it for free for now. And then when it's time to monetize and start to raise, then we'll start raising. But for now, I think, you know, I just want to be a conduit for people to, you know, make art together. So, you know, at some point we'll raise for sure.
That's great. Shari, have you guys been fundraising?
Yes, we have, and we have more to come. So we fortunately have raised or bootstrapped and raised our pre-seed funding needed to get the app and the web platform up and running. But now we are looking to, because we anticipate scaling very quickly. We're beta testing only in New York, LA, and London to start, but obviously we want to open this up to be a global market because the diversity and inclusion issue is international. It's not really just in the US. So yes, we are looking for investors. We're also looking for company sponsors. So true partners who want to come on board and make a real commitment to diversity and inclusion and obviously be on the app, so.
That's really interesting. I've been fundraising as well. I started pretty quickly. I was doing a lot before the quarantine. I was doing consulting for companies who were doing fundraising or exit, and fundraising, disappeared really for the first like 8 weeks of quarantine. I mean, it was traumatic. I think we don't talk about that enough as a culture, right? We're all sort of being traumatized in real time, slowly. And the first 8 weeks, just all those people were sort of offline. But I have seen people pick up again. A lot of private equity money is sort of focused on existing investments, but the seed money, the angel money still seems to be there. There's still VC money for the right projects. And OnNow.tv has been lucky enough. We closed our first investor. And so we have our first investor dollars in. We're continuing to raise a seed round using just safe notes. That has been really effective for us for it to move quickly. And we're continuing our round currently. Can people if people are interested in investing in you guys, can they just reach out to you on the contact information or find you on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes, of course.
That's really cool. Chris, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Chris, with your collaboration platform, how are you tracking copyright or ownership?
That's a great question. We don't want to do any of that. We want so let me say that again. We want to be the conduit for people to make music together. We want users to make the music together, and then at some point, the users will need, as we continue to grow and we become more of an educational platform, and people start working with top-tier artists to learn how to make music, then we'll need to approach that subject. Most likely the person that's teaching the class will be the person who will be owning the copyright for that. But for now, it's between the two users. We just, like I said, we just want to be that conduit for people to work together to make music right now and not have to worry about those specific issues.
Right, because you're not distributing or really broadcasting the content, correct?
We are not. At some point, we will be doing live broadcasts from, we've built in a feature that allows people to do live broadcasting, but we need to work that stuff out first before we go to there.
Cool. I see someone asking if OnNow.tv will be a Roku TV station. I don't have a Roku, but if it's anything like an Apple TV app, the answer is yes, that we presume that will be the primary value for users on our platform.
Matt, I have a question for you about OnNow.tv. I guess my question about this, and I think a lot about this in terms of Ration and thinking about kind of opening it up as a creative tool. And I wonder how you think about if people can post any link, is there any kind of gatekeeping that you guys are thinking of doing? Because it's a really hard question from an ethical perspective of like how open is the platform really, and what you're willing to take down. So I wonder how you think about that.
Well, I'm always willing to take down white supremacists, misogynists, pedophiles, pornographers. Not there's anything wrong with pornography. It's not the same as that, but we're not doing that either. Today, I don't want to equate pornography with white supremacists. White supremacists are worse, in case that wasn't clear. And so, but we haven't had that problem yet. I always consider that kind of a good problem to have. As soon as trolls show up on your platform, it means you've scaled. We do have the right to take stuff down, but in terms of so certainly just hate speech, I got no room for that. People are welcome to go somewhere else for that garbage. But in terms of quality, which is obviously very subjective, The places I've worked, Napster, when it was legal, when we paid people, I like to remind everyone, I'm a big believer in getting all the music. I'm a big believer in getting all the art, all the communication into one place. And then the product's job is to make sure that the users are exposed to what they need, what they might love, and what they might find important, and that the other stuff is out of their way. So I try to think of the inventory of creative expression as hopefully infinite, and you want to take it all, and then you want to build systems that allow people to get through all of that material. I think that's the responsibility of a product like ours. But
Yep.
you know, the flip side of what you're doing at Ration is, I mean, I want Ration. I miss picking up a great magazine and
Yep.
having it be a trusted source, even if I'm not interested in the article, reading it, and then finishing the freaking magazine, being done. You know,
Putting it
nothing,
down.
yeah, nothing online ever ends anymore. I don't know. I can't stop.
Cool.
Well, I'll give everybody 15 seconds to say their last thing. And then we're going to be winding down. Before I do that, I want to thank everybody. It's been a fantastic time. And I'm going to go around and you get to say one statement. Zoe, go.
I'm just really excited to start showing people this app more broadly. I really believe that this is something that we need right now. And I think you're going to start to see a lot of tools to try to help you hone your media diet. And I'm really hopeful that Ration hits as one of those tools.
Fantastic.
So thanks for having me.
Shari?
Thank you so much for having me as well. And I'm just excited to be a part of the solution and not the problem in a radical way. So if you too want to be a part of the solution and not the problem, please reach out to me. I'm sure I can plug you in some kind of way. And I'm just happy to have the opportunity to put pipelines to you all.
Matt, you go.
Okay. Black Lives Matter and arrest the police who murdered Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
Yes.
I second that.
Thank you for having me, and feel free to reach out to me. I'm excited to see what people do with this platform and make music together and art. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or want a demo.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody out there. Wear a mask and be good to yourselves.
Bye.
You guys
Bye, guys.
Bye.